On this special edition of Lexington Now, navigating through the perils of central Kentucky winter weather. I'm Neil Noah, and welcome to Lexington Now for the week of February 7th, 2022. This winter in Kentucky has seen just about every type of weather Mother Nature can throw at us. Local experts talk about how these events are handled.
Our message is very simple. In an ice storm, if you can stay home and stay off the roads, we ask that you please do that. Ice can be dangerous. The frigid temperatures that are forecast will keep it around for several days. Our city is prepared with salt, chainsaws, knuckle booms, generators, warming centers, and more. And we're ready to scrape off ice and snow when we can, pick up limbs, and help our residents. We want you all to stay safe.
We have been working very closely with our LFUCG partners and our partners in the utilities. So we are confident that we're prepared for whatever the weather throws at us. But there's a lot of things that individuals can do to kind of help keep themselves safe. This is the time to check your smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. Please make sure that you have those functioning. We rely on each other to get through these tough times sometimes, so please check on your neighbors. And as we mentioned, make sure that you have fuel and supplies and that all of your devices are charged. Specifically, as we look at an ice event, we can expect limbs and power lines to be affected, so never touch a down power line. If there is a power line down and it's creating a hazard, please contact 911. As our partner with KU stated, make sure to follow those outages and report those outages so we can keep track of those. Icy conditions do tend to lead to more slips and falls and obviously traffic collisions as well. And one of the big things when we do have power outages, we see people from time to time bring portable generators and or grills inside. That is a very, very bad idea. Those generate carbon monoxide. That is a deadly situation. So please be mindful of that. And if you are without power and need warming, then check in with our partners here, because there will be warming centers hopefully open. And those portable generators need to be at least 20 feet away from the house. So,
the Lexington Police Department has plans in place to ensure additional staff is available if necessary. Our specialty vehicles and our traffic control equipment is ready for deployment. Just as a reminder, wet roadways can become ice covered very rapidly. Be prepared to shelter in place. Motorists should proceed with extreme caution. Should you come across the intersection that has lost power, we ask you to treat that as a four-way stop until our officers can get our traffic control equipment to that intersection to power it. Even if you have four-wheel drive, if a snowplow can't drive on ice, I don't think your four-wheel drive will either, so please try to stay off the roadway even if you do have four-wheel drive. And again, the Lexington Police Department is working with state and local agencies to assist them in any way possible.
I think the first thing to do is remain calm and think through what we each need to do to be safe in our homes. And of course, you've heard many of our speakers say, stay off the roads. There really isn't a reason in most cases to go out. Food situation-wise, people may want the perfect food they had thought they'd eat while they were in, but go to the pantry and see what's there, So you've heard a lot of the safety issues that Chief Wells and others have talked about. Check on each other in your neighborhood. I think this is a time when we pull together even more and be sure that our neighbors are safe, Do they need something for the emergency? And then we've just got to hunker down, and we know how these ice storms can be. And they're difficult. They're very hard. But we have a great crew of people throughout government, through KU, through our community partners who are working on this, and we're putting all of our resources toward it.
Part of the city's winter preparedness includes a plan for keeping streets clear of snow and ice. Rob Allen tells us about the snow plan.
So we maintain about 1,200 lane miles of road inside Fayette County. The state obviously does roads like New Circle and the interstates, but we prioritize those roads by amount of traffic and the facilities located there. For example, Nicholasville Road with 2 big hospitals, the university, thousands upon thousands of cars a day is a rank 1. A neighborhood collector, for example, on Main Road would be through a neighborhood, but maybe only gets 1,000 cars a day. That would be a rank 4. And so we progress through our rankings, treating for snow and ice, and then we get into the neighborhoods and really try to take care of folks. We also have different service levels. Once we get 4 inches of snow, that kicks into a different service level where we actually treat more roads. We may or may not employ contractors to help us at that time. Then if we get over 8 inches of snow, it's all hands on deck. We're having to do things like clear handicap ramps and parking spaces, access to dumpsters for hospitals, schools, and restaurants and things like that. So it's a pretty well thought and extensive document. Folks can go to the city's website, lexingtonky.gov. You can type in snow plan on the search and it'll talk about that. It'll also talk about snow routes. You'll see the priority roads, all kinds of fun stuff. We add a sugar beet derivative to our salt as we're spreading it. What that does is it wets the salt grain and helps it stick to the road better. So we use less salt, which is then more environmentally friendly, and of course using less salt is a cost savings. But what that does, that wet material applied at the spinner when we're dispensing salt keeps it from scattering so much and bouncing off the road. So we found that as a benefit. It's much better for the environment rather than harsh synthetic chemicals. A lot of times folks ask us about salt brine, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's salt dissolved in water, but we apply it as a pre-treatment whenever we can. It lasts for up to 3 days on the road, and what it does is it keeps snow and ice from bonding to the pavement and forming that lock. That's the whole goal, was to keep that from happening. And it's very inexpensive, costs us less than 5 cents a gallon to make and put out. And folks will see a squiggly white line on the road. We use it, the state uses it. Ours a lot of times will be tinged pink or have a purplish hue, and that's because we're adding the sugar beet derivative to the salt brine. That allows the chemical to work at a little lower temperature and be a little speedier, a little more effective. And once again, it's sustainable, ecologically friendly. And whenever we can, we like to do it. Unfortunately, in Kentucky, our weather is so variable and usually starts out as rain, transitions over to freezing rain, and washes the product off. So we use it when we can, and otherwise we just do the best we can. And the big thing is folks need to understand it takes time for salt to work. It's not instantaneous, and we have to treat in a priority system. So while it's still snowing, we're still treating those main roads, and after it stops, then we work through our priorities and get to those neighborhood roads. So patience in driving or with our drivers is a priority.
Heating safety after the break. Welcome back to Lexington Now. Staying warm in the winter can be a problem, particularly when the power goes out. Jordan Sauce of the Lexington Fire Department has some tips to stay warm safely.
The first and most important safety message that we always push out is to make sure that you have operational smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms in your home. Those alarms need to be at least 10 years or younger. So if they're older than 10 years, the entire device needs to be taken down, thrown away, and replaced with brand new devices. We recommend that you have smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside of every sleeping area, and one on every level of your home. In terms of carbon monoxide alarms, we recommend that you have one on every level of your home as well. And that is if you have gas appliances, an attached garage, and or a fireplace that you use on a regular basis. Fire hazards obviously are a huge deal during this time of year. In fact, October through February is some of the highest times for structure fires, and that can be caused by candles that are being left unattended or people trying to use those as heat. In addition to candles, anytime you use a fireplace, anytime you're using a space heater, any type of heat producing object, that could be a gas powered water heater as well. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet away from anything that produces heat. So if it produces heat and it can catch fire, keep that distance 3 feet at a minimum. Newspapers, books, carpet, if you can. That's why there's typically a hearth in front of fireplaces, because it builds in that space that's needed to make sure things don't catch on fire. That goes for curtains and bedding and blankets as well. So there's a lot of things that we want people to know during the winter time, during any time of year actually, to avoid emergency disasters and to mitigate some of the effects that it might have on you and your family. It's all about preparation and what you do before the emergency actually happens. And so we recommend having flashlights, batteries, non-perishable foods, some bottled water available and in a location that you can quickly and easily access in order to be up and running sooner rather than later. Have a list of contacts that you can call, places you can go that might still have heat. So somebody on the other side of town that you can say, hey, we're going on 2 or 3 days without heat or warmth. Can we come over for an hour a day just to warm up, thaw out, and try and stay healthy, get a good night's sleep, things like that. Pay attention to freezing of pipes, gutters. I know personally that people are already experiencing water coming into their homes. As the ice and the snow start to melt that's on their roofs, in their gutters, it's going to backflow potentially underneath the flashing and get into their homes. And so pipes might freeze, they might burst. So it's important to be cognizant of how you can prevent that, because that's going to help alleviate a lot of the damage that people might experience. When it comes to alternative heating, there's not much you can do. If you have gas heat, maybe that's even better than having electric, because you now have some opportunity to still have heat, but carbon monoxide exposure and poisoning is still a prime factor that you have to consider, which is why you need carbon monoxide alarms in your home. Things not to do, but things that we have seen in the past: people bringing in their gas grills, turning on their gas stoves and opening the door. Anything like that is unsafe and is a recipe for disaster when it comes to carbon monoxide exposure. It's important to have layers, so make sure you dress in layers with long johns, sweats, jeans, jackets, clothes that you typically wear outside, you might have to wear inside as well. Find all your blankets, get creative, take the sheets off the bed if you have to. As far as trying to keep your house warm, around doors and windows, you can lose a lot of warm air due to cold air seeping in. So make sure you find a way to seal your entryways, your windows, your doors, to allow the warm air that you do have in your house to stay inside. If people want more information or if they have additional questions, they can check out the website that Emergency Management puts together. They have a whole list of things that you can do ahead of time, during, and after an emergency to be prepared.
When temperatures drop, there are other hazards that are a bit more stealthy: frostbite and hypothermia. Here's how to avoid these common but preventable dangers. Like it or not, winter is upon us. And it often brings hazards like snow and ice. But there is another danger that is not as frequently addressed, and that is the cold. During especially cold weather, it is best to stay indoors. But if you must venture out, here are some guidelines you should follow to stay safe. Dress warmly in layered clothing, including a hat, a scarf, or knit mask to cover your face and mouth, sleeves that are snug at the wrist, mittens, a water-resistant coat, and water-resistant boots. Avoid exertion, as cold weather puts an extra strain on the heart. Those with heart disease or high blood pressure should follow their doctor's advice about shoveling snow or performing other activities in the cold. When outside, avoid walking on ice and keep your steps and walkways as free of snow and ice as possible. Be on the lookout for signs of hypothermia and frostbite, two common cold weather-related health problems. Warning signs of hypothermia, which is an abnormally low body temperature, include shivering, exhaustion, confusion, fumbling hands, memory loss, slurred speech, and drowsiness. If you detect symptoms of hypothermia, seek medical care immediately. Get the victim into a warm room and remove any wet clothing. Warm the center of the body first with an electric blanket if available. Otherwise, use skin-to-skin contact under loose, dry layers of blankets, clothes, towels, or sheets. Warm beverages can help increase the body temperature, but do not use alcoholic beverages. Warning signs of frostbite or an injury to the body caused by freezing include redness or pain in any skin area, white or grayish-yellow skin, skin that feels unusually firm or waxy, and numbness. If you detect symptoms of frostbite, seek medical care immediately. Get the victim into a warm room and immerse the affected area in warm, not hot, water. Do not rub the frostbitten area with snow or massage it, as this can cause more damage. Do not use a heating pad, heat lamp, or the heat of a stove, fireplace, or radiator for warming, as the frostbitten areas are numb and can be easily burned. These procedures are not substitutes for medical care, and all emergencies should be reported to a physician or healthcare provider. If you follow these simple rules and exercise caution, you can weather the worst winter has to offer and come out healthy on the other side when the warm breezes of spring start to blow. We have another full week of live meetings to bring you, and you can catch all of them here on Lex TV or streaming online. And remember, for the most accurate and up-to-date information on all city business, check out our website at lexingtonky.gov. Here's this week's televised meetings. As always, we continue to keep you up to date on how the city is handling the pandemic via our official COVID-19 response site, including testing, vaccination, and booster sites. Simply click on the banner at the top of our home page. That's all for now, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media. Check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter at LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on lexingtonky.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.